Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multi-millionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Are you tired of grinding away to make money, feeling like you need to clone yourself to make your business a success? I know, I was once there too, working 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week with no me time and totally overwhelmed. I knew there had to be an easier and more fun way to make massive money. And that's when I discovered passive income. Fast forward years later, and now I consistently make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year while I sleep and with little of my time. My Lord, is this a freeing and empowering feeling. It's my mission and passion to teach all of you to do the same. So I created the exclusive ProjectME Passive Income Posse, where I directly teach you how to incorporate passive income streams into your life and business. If you desire the same financial freedom I've created, message me on Instagram or Facebook at ProjectME with Tiffany, and I will send you the group application requirements. We're keeping this group small so everyone gets customized guidance and attention. All right, now back to today's episode. Welcome to the Posse and podcast ProjectME with Tiffany Carter. So today I will be answering the top 3 questions multimillionaires most frequently get asked. I will be answering them what's true to me and in my own style, which I imagine that's what you'd want to hear. So how I came up with this is because I get asked these same 3 questions many, many times a week on social media. And then if I'm speaking at a live event or I'm doing live corporate trainings, which I actually do weekly, a lot of people don't know that, in front of sometimes hundreds, oftentimes thousands of usually, sales teams, right? And I will get asked the same 3 questions, versions of those 3 questions over and over and over again to the point where it's like, just blows my mind. So I decided to ask other colleagues and friends of mine who are multimillionaires to see what are the most frequent questions they get asked. And they're exactly the same. So we're all laughing, right? It's exactly the same questions. Then I thought, well, I'll ask my coach because he's worth 100 million. So he's at like the next level, right? And maybe people ask him different questions. Nope, same questions. So I thought, well, if this is the most, common questions that people want to know the answers to, I imagine that so do you guys. And I imagine you'd want to know my answers to them. So here we go. The first one is, Tiffany, how did you start making all this money? Or some variation of that question. Here's the thing. And no sarcasm here. I started making money $1 at a time, right? For those of you who know my story, I started out at making $17,000 a year. So that's a far cry different from where I'm at now. But how I started making money was truly $1 at a time. How I started accumulating wealth, I would say, is a better version of that question. How I started accumulating wealth was when I found ways for my money to work for me at all hours of the day, meaning when I started getting into passive income. And I did that pretty early on. When I was in corporate America working in the pharmaceutical industry, and a lot of people who have a corporate career or job, they're offered a 401k. In certain industries like pharmaceuticals, they would match dollar for dollar in your 401k. And they did offer, education in terms of investing. I think probably by law they have to do that. But I took advantage of it because I wanted to understand, what do I want to put, more of my paycheck into this? Because of course, I wanted the most money to me, but I was like, well, let me just, look at it further and see. And I learned the true value of compounding, Meaning when you put money away and that money starts earning money, and then you put more money away, then that earns money, then that money makes money off money. And it's, you could call it a domino effect. The actual financial term is compounding. Warren Buffett speaks about it a lot. Because people will ask Warren Buffett, right? A multi-billionaire, they'll ask him the same question. They'll say, they might ask it a little differently. How did you amass your billions? Or I've seen all different variations of that as well in interviews of him. And he'll say compounding interest, right? Which is a high level, financial term. So I didn't want to be too nerdy with you guys, but it's really like a domino effect, right? So you put away money in a smart way, that money makes money. Then you put in fresh money, meaning new money from every paycheck or new money from, every month of earnings in your business. And then that money makes money. So now you consistently are having money on top of money on top of money making money. And whether that's $5, whether that's $10, whether that's $5,000, it does compound itself over time. And as long as you don't touch it, right, you're not emptying out your 401k or your investment portfolio and you pretend it's not there, which is what I did and which was recommended to me. Just pretend it doesn't exist. So instead of me, I think when I first started in pharmaceuticals, I think my pay was $45,000 a year. And by the way, I was like psyched. I went from 17,000. I think I went 17. Then I went to 30,000. And then I went from 30 to 45. And I was like, oh my good Lord, have mercy. I'm rich. I was so freaking excited. So because I was already used to making less, right? I just pretended I made less. So I was like, okay, maybe I make 37,000 a year. I pretended I didn't really make 45. Therefore, I could have that money working for me while I did my job and work towards getting like sales bonuses and things like that. So that's truly how I did it. And then you have time, right? So money in, then I, in a sense, forgot about it, meaning I didn't touch it, right? I had it in like very, conservative, solid investments at that time. I wasn't like betting on .com type stocks or anything like that. That was too scary to me. And I just forgot about it and it grew and it grew and it grew. So regardless of how much money you have, if you have $5 to put in a week, $10 to put in a week, do it. I also did something else, which was when my friends at that time, and this was in my 20s, my friends were buying like designer jeans and, doing the Coach handbags and the whole deal. I didn't buy any of that. In fact, I would get teased sometimes by people. Like, it's not like my clothes were nerdy, but they weren't like, I'm living in like by the ocean in LA. Not on the ocean, like in an apartment, but I was still in like a very, trendy, affluent area. And I'd get teased by my friends because I was wearing like jeans from Gap or like Limited Express or, Express, something like that. And they're wearing like, the brand Sevens or, they're wearing those $100, $150 jeans. And I bought my like purses from, I think like Target or something. They still look nice, but they weren't designer. And in my mind, it was like, well, I've not really had that. So I'm not really missing anything. And I could put that money into, this whole compounding interest thing. And that would just be more money I could put in there. So why not just like delay getting these things for a few years? Who cares? In order to make more money. So these are little decisions and choices that I made, and that I still make some of those to this day, right? I live below my means, even though, from the outside, it's like, oh my God, there's no way you could live below your means in the house you have in Los Angeles and yada, yada. Well, yes, I do. I live below my means. We could for sure have a totally different house. We could have a house that's actually even double the price of this house. But I live below my means. I do follow that principle of Warren Buffett, which is, take as much as you can and turn it into compounding interest, because over the years, that money just keeps growing while I'm, earning my active income, and, time goes by fast. So pretty soon now we're 5 years down the line, or even 10 years down the line. You're like, holy shit. That like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 has turned into $65,000. And it's not like I was in some crazy high risk, gambling investments. These are like solid conservative, funds. So there's the answer to that question. I'm giving you guys the more detailed version. Obviously, I wouldn't go into this whole diatribe when I have a line of people wanting to ask me questions. But I wanted to give you that detailed answer. And now what I'll tell people is to go listen to this episode when they ask me this question, because then they can get the thorough answer. How's that for you? All right. So the next question, the next most common question multimillionaires get asked, and I get asked, is, what's your secret, Tiffany? People think that others that have amassed great wealth have some kind of a secret that we are hiding from the rest of the world, or we're hiding from even our friends and family. Like we have some secret recipe, a secret solution that we've figured out, and we're holding our cards close to us because we don't want anyone else to find out, because if they found out, we might not make as much money. Not true at all. The people who are the most generous with sharing information about their success, about their wealth, about their impact, are people who have a lot of money. The people who are stingy about it are people that may be making, pretty decent money, but they're not making millions, right? So here's the thing. There is no secret sauce. There is no secret recipe. I'm telling you, there is no secret recipe. It is very, very straightforward. And you guys have probably seen quotes like this and have heard people say it. And there is a reason why you hear very successful people say it on repeat, okay? Successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people aren't willing to do. And let me add this. And successful people are willing to do it every day and do it every day. Day after day, month after month, year after year. What I mean by that is that most people, even if they're being told, even if they're paying me to coach them, even if, they have done a course or gone to 10 years of college or whatever, and they're being told, do this, this, and this to be successful. Here is a blueprint. Here's how many people you need to talk to a day. Here's how many people you need to give this to a day, or whatever business it's in. Most people, when I say most, I'm talking, I might even go higher than 95%, but we'll just stick with 95%. 95% of people will do what you see happens on the New Year's effect at the gym, is what I call it. They set a New Year's resolution to lose weight or get healthy. So now all the fitness centers in the world, the first, January up until like Valentine's Day are packed, and memberships are up, and the gym's packed, and it's hard to find a parking spot and everything. And without a doubt, right after, for sure, Valentine's Day, February 14th, it's back to business. It's the same thing that happens with making money. You can tell someone, you can teach someone, they can pay for this information, they can pay a fortune for the information, they can get information for free, they could have a brother or sister or a cousin as a direct mentor and be told regularly and shown regularly. But still, only 5% of people will follow through on that success strategy for day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Most people get excited and then have this motivation and might do it for a month, but when they don't see the results, that instant gratification results right away, they get defeated and discouraged. Their mindset takes over, like, this might not be for me. I'm not meant to be rich. I don't know, Tiffany can do it because she has something, something special and unique that I don't, or so-and-so can do it because they have this credential, or so-and-so can do it because they have more education than me, or so-and-so can do it because they were raised wealthy and not poor like me. So-and-so can do it because they're really pretty and I'm just average looking. I can go on and on and on with all the excuses that I've heard. And I'm sure all of you, in fact, now I know all of you have your go-to excuses that your, I call it poverty mindset, goes to right away. We all do. I have them too. Okay. I have them too. I just work very diligently and consistently on my mindset, which is why I teach money mindset, because it's so crucial, because it can absolutely derail even the most competent, talented, and successful people. So here's the thing. You get excited. You're like, I'm going to do this. I'm all in. Like, I know a lot of you have attended things like Tony Robbins or the Bliss Project or, any of these live events, right? You've attended these sort of things and you get all jazzed. When I leave, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Or maybe you take a course or you're in a mastermind, whatever it is. And you're like, I'm going to do this, this, and this. I'm on it. I know I've got it in me. Then you go start doing the thing that you've been taught or coached to do. And you're like, okay, week 1, okay, I'm not making any more money. Okay, I'll do it week 2, I'm not making any more money. Week 3, well, my coach kind of warned me it wasn't going to happen this fast. So you keep going. Then inevitably, week 3, week 4, for sure, week 5, most people are so discouraged and over it and frustrated and in a low vibe because they might not have gotten any new clients. No one's bought their product, whatever. This didn't work. That fell through. They couldn't find a manufacturer. I could go on and on. For every single business, there's something, right? And then what happens is they take their foot off the gas and then they go into this depression state and then they don't do anything for a week. And then their shame sets in. I should at least try. And then the poverty mindset kicks in and it sabotages everything, you guys, everything. I see this all the time. I see it, I see it when I had quite a few employees at one point. I even saw that even with employees being paid, being regularly taught and coached by me, I would see that. I see it especially with entrepreneurs. I see it with network marketing professionals, affiliate marketing professionals. I have no idea who told or taught anybody that there's instant gratification with anything in life. I have no idea where someone got that idea, but the secret with people who have amassed millions of dollars, they know this is not an instant process. They're in it for the long game. They know that you could try the best business plan that you have refined and tweaked over years and roll it out and have really high hopes and have done your market research and have great graphics and all the bells and whistles. And 1 week later, maybe one sale. 2 weeks later, no sales. 3 weeks later, 3 sales. 4 weeks later, 1 sale. And if other successful people based if something was working off of a few weeks, and a handful of sales, most of the most amazing, incredible inventions that we have on this earth today would have never come to fruition, including the airplane and electricity, you guys, and indoor plumbing, right? You have to try and fail, try and tweak, try and refine. And in order to really see if something works, you can't just give it a couple months. Okay. Some things take longer. Some things take time. Mark Cuban, okay, a multi-billionaire, is famous for saying it's a numbers game. Anything in entrepreneurship especially is a numbers game, meaning you have to contact and network and reach out to 100 people to maybe get 1 new client. That's not unusual for people who are realtors, for people in insurance sales, for people who have a gym and they're selling memberships, you guys. This is why This is why you use all sorts of marketing outlets, social media, TV ads, newspaper ads, magazine ads, flyers. This is email marketing. This is why all this type of marketing exists, because it's a numbers game. You get what you do, get information about your store, your restaurant, your services, whatever. Get it in front of as many eyes as possible, because for every X many eyes that see and hear about your stuff, eyes and ears that see and hear about your stuff, you get Y many sales. And you end up finding out a pattern of how that works. And then you work to getting that number decreased, right? Meaning, okay, now it's every 100 people who hear about my stuff, right? I get one client. All right, let's work on getting that number down to 80 to 1, 70 to 1, 60 to 1, 50 to 1. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So the secret is tenacity, persistence, patience, and consistency. You just keep going, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're discouraged. Everyone has a bad day. I've had bad weeks. And yeah, you might take an afternoon off and regroup. You might take a day off and regroup. But I always go back. And most people don't. They let that slippery slope of a poverty mindset kick in, and they run with it, and they end up down the rabbit hole, and down the rabbit hole they go. And then they're like, oh, well, this job might not be for me. This network marketing company might not be for me. That might not be for me. This person might not be for me. And they point fingers, right? But they're the common denominator. It's really the mindset takes hold. So how's that for an answer for what's my secret? All right. And the third question that multimillionaires are most frequently asked is this. There's a version of this. It's, I'm trying everything and I can't seem to get ahead. What am I doing wrong? Okay. You're not doing anything wrong, you guys. You're not doing anything wrong. Nor was I when I was making $17,000 a year, $30,000 a year, $100,000 a year. I wasn't doing anything wrong either. All right. Are there things that I needed to be taught and have strategies and refined things and learn new methods and ways? Yes. But nothing's wrong with you. You're not a bad person. I don't like the whole, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not wrong just because you're not rich yet. Okay. I don't like that mindset. That doesn't work. How about reframing that into, what could I be doing better? I would even be okay with, is there something I'm missing here? Okay, versus what am I doing wrong? That's such in judgment and blaming. And then that's a very easy way to slip down that poverty mentality victim path. Poor me. What am I doing wrong? Nothing works for me. I'm always broke. So what am I missing here? Or what could I be doing better? If you are not where you want to be and you don't feel you're even on track to where you want to be, even if you're impatient as hell, listen, I'm impatient too. If you're not where you want to be and you don't even see that you're on track to it, my best advice is you need to reach out to someone who is where you want to be and someone you respect and trust, and ask them the question, what am I missing here? What could I be doing better? Go ahead and try me and DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany on Instagram or Facebook. Try me and ask me that question. Obviously, give me some background on what the hell it is you do, and ask that question to me. Or ask that question to, someone else that you highly respect and trust. Ask that question, give them some context, right? You can't just go in there and say what could I be doing better? You're like, I don't even know what you do. So give some context, but ask the question, because we can't always see our stuff. In fact, we actually can't see our blind spots. That's why they're called blind spots, right? Just like in a car, there's a reason why we have rearview mirrors. It's so we can see those blind spots. We need help. It's no different when it comes to our business or our career. We need someone else being able to see. We're so immersed in it, we can't always see. But if you're not open and willing to hear feedback and guidance from someone you admire, respect, and trust, then don't ask the question, right? If you're not humble enough to ask, I ask all the time. I want to know. I'll ask also feedback from you guys, right? I'll say like, what do you guys like? What are your favorite topics? I'm humble enough to ask because I want to serve and be effective. So if you truly want to serve and be effective and gain great wealth, you need to humble yourself enough to ask of what am I missing here? What could I be doing better? Okay. And give context, of course, versus saying, what am I doing wrong? In fact, people who are leaders and successful business people like myself, we don't like answering questions to people who phrase them in that way. What am I doing wrong? I have a little more compassion than some people I've heard, because I get what you're saying with it. I get where you're going with it because you're frustrated and you're feeling defeated. But usually you're going to get a better answer if you rephrase it. Like, what could I be doing better? Right? What am I missing here? Because I know a lot of you have tried a lot of different things and nothing's quite sticking, and it's frustrating as hell. Maybe you get a little head, but then it stops. Maybe you get a little head and it goes backwards. So if that sounds like you, reach out to me, DM me, take an action for yourself at ProjectME with Tiffany on Instagram or Facebook, and ask me the damn question. Take an action for yourself, because sitting and spinning your wheels, asking yourself the question, you've already asked yourself this question at 2 a.m, right? You've already asked yourself this question enough times. So now it's time to ask somebody else. Someone else. You're basically asking someone to check your blind spots. And that's what a very smart business person does. And that's definitely what I do, and my peers and people who I highly respect do often. They have people around them to help them see their blind spots and to help them cover their bases and things they might not see, or pose questions they may have never thought of asking. We're not meant to do this shit alone, you guys. So would love to hear if you love this episode. So take a screenshot right now, takes 2 seconds, post it on your social media and tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany. Would love to see if you liked learning about these 3 top questions and my answers to them. And I hope you all have a beautiful day. Talk to you soon. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.